I felt fear. And people, when they feel fear, it's very healthy, natural thing, but very addictive. So I realized that when I felt fear, I forgot about all my problems, like health problems, you know.
So honey, tell me about your walk this morning.
Today is a full moon day, right? And I woke up with a little pain in my belly, tummy, or whatever. And you went to meditate by yourself, and I saw him meditating. I thought he went to the bathroom only, but he immediately went to meditate without me. So I was like, what am I going to do here? Because he's meditating, and so I decided that I'll go out. The dog was sleeping, you know, she sleeps until 10 and we can't wake her up that quickly. So I decided to go by myself, but as we are in the Alps, 1,300 meters above sea level, it is possible you can meet some animals here. So
like bears,
like
wolves, maybe on a very low chance.
It's very low chance because they always track it here, but you know,
they exist.
Chance is a chance, possibility is possibility. So I went, and there is like a valley, very steep valley, which we will probably show you now. And there is like a little path along the river, which was really broken by floods or so on. And so it's kind of newly built, and it's in a really deep forest. Like it's a very like a forest which you would know from fairy tales, and the trees are just growing there like one next to another, and it's like really, if you walk there, if you look in there, you will like think, where is the thing which is going to jump on me right now, you know, because it's a really scary, and you don't hear anything because next to you is just water, running water. And the walk takes like 15 minutes in that forest. Like if you walk like very quickly, you can make it in 15 minutes through that forest to the nice meadow where there is like a very big rewarding view on green, but I mean really nicely green grass in a mountainous area in Alps. So I decided that I'll walk there. First I kind of felt alright, so it's kind of uncomfortable to walk here, and then I saw a squirrel, and squirrel is for me a sign of playfulness and silliness, and squirrels are super happy animals and I totally love them. And she was running on the tree, and she looked at me from one side, then 1 meter higher, another side, another side, another side, and she was running on the totally top. And it took like, because the tree was really tall, it took like, you know, 8 times she looked at me, and she was still like really playful, you know. So then I went, because she obviously jumped on another tree, and then I absolutely lost her. But other than that, it was really fun. And then I walked, and I'm like, okay, so now I can go back, because she told me to go back, the squirrel, that's why she appeared. It could be like, okay, I already got what I needed here, and I already could go back, right? So I decided, no, I want to see the meadow. I want to see the beautiful green meadow, because it's so amazing, just beautiful. And so I went further, but then I started to hear things. It was my hair, because you don't hear anything. It's there like a very intense, you already hear it probably now, no? The water is still flowing, and you don't hear anything. Not even Raphael I can't hear next to me when we are there. And I realized I'm totally in fear. I was in fear, and I was like, no, I'm just walking, you know. I want to be here. Nobody's going to do anything to me. I'm not going to embody wolf now or anything like that, so they can't get to me. But I felt fear. And people, when they feel fear, it's very healthy, natural thing, but very addictive. And I realized why it is addictive. I realized after I went almost towards the meadow, there was waiting for me who? Another squirrel. Another squirrel was waiting for me, a little bit tinier and also a little bit playful, not that playful like before, but she was still looking at me, you know, showing me her white belly. I was like, okay, so this is a sign. Shall I go now back? Or shall I go to the meadow, which is like 1 minute away from me? So I looked back on that forest which I came from, and I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back because I'm not doing this anymore. Because it was really dark. There is not sunlight yet because it was early morning. And you know, when it's early or more in the morning, people are not going there that much. And animals are then free to go anywhere.
They're still active?
Right? They are still active. And so I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm not doing that. But I had to walk all the way around the huge meadow, and I was like, I don't feel like it, but I will do it because I'm too fearful. So I started to walk, and I passed and I saw the nice wet meadow, and I'm like, okay, now I have to walk on concrete and very, very high because it was a steep hill down, so it has to be also big, steep hill up, right? And then I realized that it was a little bit better feeling for my body to be in fear, because I didn't feel that my leg is hurting because after I fell wrongly, I have a disbalance in my hips, and it makes my leg hurt sometimes when I walk too much or when I don't do properly exercise. So I realized that when I felt fear, I forgot about all my problems, like health problems, you know, like no belly hurting, no head pain, no headache. You don't have anything. You're a healthy person when you are in fear. You are a healthy person because you're ready to react, to run, fight, or whatever. And it's really cool. That's why people keep themselves in fear. Because when you are... I just left the border from the squirrel to the meadow. I saw the meadow, and now I'm like, here is more people. Or here could be more people living. So here it's not that obvious that will be animals. And I'm like, okay, but my leg is hurting and my belly and stuff, you know. And I'm like, aha, that's why we like to be in fear. And then we search for any possible situation where we can be in fear. Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
So that's why people keep themselves artificially fearing things. Because it is very uncomfortable to be comfortable and to say, oh, I have to deal with this or that, or I'm having this thought and I have a problem there and this.
And it's a strong and intense emotion. And those tend to be very addictive, whether that be positive or negative. So you just naturally want to hold on to this because you feel something. You're alive in that moment, even though it feels really bad. We like it and we want to stay in it. It's addictive.
Yeah. And and I really could feel the discomfort of not having fear. So in a moment I could create another one because I wasn't still done with the forest, obviously, or I could fear that I'll not be able to make it to home and I didn't have a cell phone with me. But you know, it's just that people should or not should anything. But
I had it one moment when I was waiting here for you, an impulse that I should maybe go with the car there to pick you up.
Really?
I don't know if we were there aligned at some moment.
I was on that down there, and I was like, I wish he would take a car and he would just come here with a car.
No, see. And
I'm
there's
like, he
there are a
has
lot
to
of
receive the message because I don't have a cell phone.
yeah, because
And
there are a lot of
you did
walking
receive a
paths
message,
here.
but you didn't take the car.
There are a lot of walking paths here, and like you could go anywhere. But we went to this one already 3, 4, 5 times, and I thought that would be probably the one. So if it would take too long, I would take the car and drive there to pick you up. So I thought, did you send me just something? And then I didn't really feel a sense of urgency, so that's why I didn't take action on it.
But I was like, oh my gosh, I was just sending the message or the thought to you before I started to walk up the hill, and I'm like, I have to walk up the hill, concrete hill, you know. It's just the road, it's nothing, no nature or anything, but I did that. It is anyways in a beautiful area, but you know, my leg wasn't really happy to go. But we made it somehow, and I was rushing because I knew that you don't know I'm there.
There you are.
Because I didn't tell him that I'm leaving for a walk because he was in a meditation. So, summary is that if you fear something, it's kind of really good savior for you because you actually want to fear. Because
all other problems disappear. This is the only one which is present.
It disappears problems, it disappears health issues. And if you start to not fear, some problems can appear, and it's so uncomfortable, so you go back to fear. But it is a vicious cycle, and you can fear your health problems then, because the fear creates health problems.
The fear can also turn in that way into anxiety and panic attacks, which you then can't control anymore because it just becomes so automatic for the body. So it's something we have to be very careful about.
But everybody has their own time when they start to be aware of.
They wake up.
And already when you start to be aware of stuff, like of emotions which you feel, it's already, you're moving away from this energy of being connected to
this consciousness.
To this consciousness, yeah.
And I feel that sometimes we just need to suffer or feel bad for a certain amount of time until we are ready to change. Like, I don't know if we want to have this in our experience, but I feel sometimes you want to change, but subconsciously you don't want to change. It's just dragging and dragging. Even though you say, I want this to change, I don't want it, you still want it.
I don't know if you want it, because people are taught by their parents, by their environment, that this is how you live, you know? You could have parents which are not fearful, and you would be 100% not fearful person. Because where would you copy it? Maybe in school or somewhere, but where would you copy it? And every nice story, romantic story, is giving some kind of fear. Either they lost their loved one. Oh, maybe we should stop.
Luna, ódiala, menino. Ódiala. 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 Ódiala, menino. Ódiala. Ódiala. No, ódiala. Ódiala, menino. Ódiala, menino. Menino, yeah. So this is just an example of how we experience fear, how we deal with it, and why we experience it. Because it also brings us something, right?